want to lead us?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good and gracious God, all glory and honor go to you. For the times that we've fallen short, for the times that we didn't treat each other with the God-given dignity that you've given us, we ask your forgiveness. We will try to do better in the future with your help. We thank you for bringing us together with this community. This is a wonderful community to live in. Thank you for everybody that's participating here. Thank you for all the patriots that came before us to help us create this country, this state, this township, this village. It's a wonderful place to live. We ask that you help us discern what is best for our community, what your will is for us, our community, and then for us to move forward on it. And help us to do this with the dignity that you have given us inside, that love and joy comes and we respect each other. We ask this and all our private intentions through your name. Amen.
Okay, we got a roll call form.
Sure. Trustee Conley.
Here.
Trustee Bonomo.
here.
Trustee Garwin.
Here.
Trustee Rivera.
Here.
Supervisor Ballard.
Here.
We have a quorum.
And then next we have the clerk's report.
Sure. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve this September 12, 2022 monthly township board meeting minutes.
I'll start the motion.
All in favor? Okay, just to let you know, I'm starting with my report. Does anybody need an agenda or does everyone have one? Okay, so if you follow along, I'm sorry if you can't hear, I'll try to speak a little bit louder. So I asked for a motion to approve the September 12, 2022 meeting minutes. The first was Trustee Bonomo, the second was Trustee Conley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, motion passes. All right, I just wanted to let everyone know that we did file our audit report for the period of April 1, 2021 to March 31st, 2022. And this was published in the paper as required. All right, now we have handed out a tentative levy. I'd like a motion to approve the tentative 2022 levy for town fund, general assistance fund, park fund, and debt service. If I can please get a motion.
I'll motion. I'll second.
Okay. I will take a roll call. Trustee Garwin.
Yes.
Trustee Conley.
Yes.
Trustee Bonomo.
Yes.
Trustee Rivera.
Yes.
Supervisor Ballard.
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay, I'd like a motion to approve the tentative 2022 levy for the Road and Bridge Fund and the Building and Equipment Fund.
I'll start the motion.
I'll second.
All right, and I will take a roll call. Trustee Garwin.
Yes.
Trustee Rivera.
Yes.
Trustee Bonomo.
Yes.
Trustee Conley.
Yes.
Supervisor Ballard.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. All right, next we have for D, we have outdoor lighting at the administrative office at 14350 West 151st Street. We have had some comments about how dark it is around our building at night. And as most businesses around here do have parking lot lights, we do not have any. I'm sorry, could we keep the talking down to a minimum? Thank you, I appreciate it. So anyway, we are getting 3 bids for the parking lot lighting, and we're also replacing the floodlights. I know last year we did have some people put up their displays for the holiday, and the floodlights were not adequate. So we are getting 3 bids to look at the floodlights on our building and to also look at parking lot lights for our parking lot because there are none. So anywho, I have gone to a couple different people. Unfortunately, a lot of these contractors are very slow to get back to me. I did have 2 appointments today. Only 1 person showed up. So I have put a proposal in the packet. If everyone can please look at it, or if you've already looked at it, I'm assuming. And there's a dollar amount in there. I am not revealing the dollar amount only because we've only gotten the 1 proposal. We do not get the other 2 back yet. So I don't want to reveal what 1 person has proposed, because then the other people are going to know the dollar amount. So that being said, I would like a motion to approve, to approve TriTech Electric Incorporated or another similar proposal for outdoor parking lot lighting not to exceed the current bid. If I can get a motion for that, or any, I guess if we do a motion, then we can do discussion, if you guys have a question.
No, I motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay. Any discussion? Okay. I'll take a roll call. Trustee Rivera.
Yes.
Trustee Garwin.
Yes.
Trustee Conley.
Yes.
Trustee Bonomo.
Yes.
Supervisor Ballard.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. So the same thing with D2, if I can please get a motion.
I'll start the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay.
What's the proposal?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't read that, sorry about that. So a motion to approve ITOR Incorporated or other for a similar proposal for outdoor parking lot lighting not to exceed the current bid. Sorry, I forgot to read that. So we have a trustee Conley and trustee Garwin, and if we could do a roll call. Sorry. Trustee Conley, I'm looking at you.
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Garwin.
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Bonomo.
Yes.
Trustee Rivera.
Yes.
Supervisor Ballard.
Yes.
Okay, for number 3, I actually am going to table number 3 for right now, only because none of my proposals came in. So if I guess I will just table it, right? Okay, so number 3 is tabled for right now. Okay, can I get a motion to table that, please?
I'll start that motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, motion passes. Okay, next we're on 4E is the Pet Expo. I'm looking to personally host a Pet Expo with the Village of Homer Glen, and we thought it'd be something fun to do for the community. And I'm looking for a motion, first of all, to host the event so if someone would be willing to put that motion up.
I'll motion.
Okay, sorry, keep looking at you. Sure, so the Pet Expo would be something, sorry about that, I was looking for the motion, then I was going to do a little description. So if I could just get a second.
I'll second
You'll
the motion.
second, okay. So basically, the Pet Expo would be very similar to what we did with the Senior Expo, is we would have vendors and people from the community come and basically give their wares or their pet supply stuff that they offer for sale or services that they offer, and kind of just bring the community together with their pets.
And why would that cost $7,500?
And just like with anything, that when you start something up, it may cost me money to get signs made or whatever, but we will be charging a vendor's fee. So hopefully it will cost us $0 amount of dollars, but we just don't know. This is our first year doing it, so we're just trying to get it out there and see the feasibility of it.
Because I'd like to say something about that, you know, with the money in reference. So we put together a senior expo, and I don't know if you had a chance to attend it. And with the senior expo, I asked the board if we could put $5,000 set aside for expenses if they incur, okay? When everything was said and done, I think the net cost to the township was about $700 total net. Now, if you take away all the money that was contributed from myself, Rosie contributed, and everyone else, it probably amounted into thousands of dollars with the amount of things that were actually donated and or contributed. But I would say with the $700 cost and all of the activities and all of the things that happened, people recognize what's offered to them in the community. I think it was well worth it. And everyone that attended asked when is it going to be next year, and we're going to have one next year. It's going to be bigger. And I personally want it to be a net zero next year. I think we can obtain that with all the amount of people that are going to contribute to it. So you have to have money set aside. But in my case, it was $5,700 was the unused cost, and I think it was a great deal for everybody.
I mean, it's a great idea and everything, but I could see the 7,500 going to better thing towards the lighting maybe.
Again, this is just throwing it out there, okay? There's nothing set in stone. Just like Mike, I really do not plan on.
Could there be lighting issues?
1 second, please. 1 second, please. We're not, this is between the board. We're having a conversation with the board. So if you can please just wait with your questions. Again, you can call me anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. if you have more specific questions, if you'd like to know some more stuff about Pet Expo. I would be happy to have community volunteers, but we just haven't decided on anything. I want to first get the ball rolling on this, okay? So that being said, does the board have any other questions?
I would just like to make a comment. I mean, the Senior Expo was like beyond successful. This is kind of another dimension for our
Speak a little louder,
pets. For our
please.
pets.
Yeah.
And I thought when Vicki talked to me about it, it's a fantastic idea.
Louder, please. We cannot hear you back here. We said it a bunch of times. Either you can have a meeting like this in public, get microphones and speakers, or speak up, please.
Okay. I'll try again. Is this better?
Yes.
All right, when Vicki called me about this, about this matter, I thought it was an excellent idea. I mean, the Senior Expo turned out to be fantastic. It was rewarding to be part of it. This is another dimension. It's our pets. So I thought this was great. And again, cooperation with the village. It'll be at Heritage Park. I think we're going to try and set the date so we can use some of the tents that are going to be set up for Homerfest. That will cost us nothing. And it is a budgetary number. And Mike's right. I mean, we had set aside $5,000. We had so many vendors at Expo that paid us the fee. We only ended up spending $700 to $5,000. I think it's pretty good. So for our pets, I think it's a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
And I'll try to keep speaking loud. Sorry.
Thank you. All right, so we have a motion and a second. This is again E1. So if I can get, I'll do a roll call here because, we can just do all in favor here. So all in favor of hosting the Pet Expo?
Aye.
Any nays? Okay. And then I'd like a motion to approve myself to be the host of the expo.
I'll start that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, motion passes. Now, this is the part about the money. Motion to spend up to $7,500 from the events other in the town fund. If I can get a motion, please.
I'll motion.
Okay.
And I'll second.
Okay. And I will take a roll call. Trustee Garwin.
Yes.
Trustee Conley.
Yes.
Trustee Rivera.
Yes.
Trustee Bonomo.
Yes.
Supervisor Ballage.
Yes.
Okay, so the motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, the supervisor's report. We had a plan commission notification from the county for property located at 13706 West 167th Street, Homer Glen. PIN number 16-05-22-400-017-000, up for rezoning from A2 to E2 and A2 to R1 for a 4-lot subdivision. The Village of Homer Glen is for this development. If there's no objections from our board, I think we should be in favor of it and do nothing. Is anybody against this?
No.
Okay. Since nobody's against it, we'll do nothing, and I'll report to the county that we have no problem. And we have a motion to approve resolution HT 2022-1017 RES-1 regarding the Safety Act and Pre-Trial Fairness Act SB 4025. You got that?
Yes, okay. There you go.
So I'm going to read it, so you have to listen real quick carefully, because I'm not the best reader. A resolution supporting continued efforts to resolve the public safety concerns with the Safety Act, HB 3653, and the Pre-Trial Fairness Act, SB 4025. Whereas Homer Township's mission is to provide services that ensure the high quality of life, sound fiscal management, and dynamic business environment, while creating and including a community that values traditional principles, and whereas providing a safe, secure community for all Homer Township residents and businesses is a focus of the Township's priority plan. And whereas Will County has been a leader in police training, policy and practice, accountability and transparency. And whereas the Township values public engagement and stakeholder involvement to ensure all perspectives are considered in the development of legislation. And whereas on January 22nd, 2021, the Illinois Safety and Accountability, Fairness and Equity Today, and that's the Safety Act, was signed into law, which imposes significant changes to impacting many aspects of criminal justice system, including pre-arrest, diversion, policing, pre-trial sentencing, and corrections. And whereas the Safety Act was poorly drafted, nearly 800 pages, and passed in the middle of the night with little or no public debate, with no Republican votes. And whereas the Safety Act contains a precursor act called the Pre-Trial Fairness Act, and whereas the Pre-Trial Fairness Act was enacted on January 13, 2021, and whereas the law abolishes cash bail as of January 1st, 2023, that all defendants charged with criminal acts, including but not limited to kidnapping, armed robbery, second-degree murder, drug-induced homicide, aggravated DUI, threatening a public official, and aggravated fleeing and eluding should be released from custody without posting a monetary bail, which will cause major public safety issues. And whereas the Will County State's Attorney says the Safety Act and Public Act 101-652 clearly violates the single subject rule of the Illinois Constitution and is thus unconstitutional. And whereas items like burden of proof from beyond a reasonable doubt are changed to clear and convincing, not showing up for court is not proof you won't show up for court in the future. Breaking an ankle bracelet cannot be considered escape for 48 hours. Now therefore be resolved that the supervisor and the board of trustees of Homer Township, Will County, Illinois, that Section 1, Homer Township demands that state legislators work with public safety representatives and all community stakeholders to fix the remaining problems with the Safety Act, including but not limited to unreasonably limiting an imposition of cash bail, unreasonably limiting police officer discretion to make an arrest, imposing unreasonable police certification and decertification standards, and making unreasonable custodial accommodations, unreasonably allowing offenders to violate terms of their release, and violating victims' rights as outlined in the law. Homer Township's that demands that these provisions are removed or that the Safety Act be repealed prior to their implication on January 1st, 2023. This resolution shall be effective immediately upon the adoption of the board as provided by law. So I need to get a motion to accept this, and we will send it on to our state reps and the governor.
I'll start the motion.
I'll second.
Need a roll call?
Any discussion? Okay, trustee Rivera? Trustee Garwin?
Yes.
Trustee Conley?
Yes.
Trustee Bonomo?
Yes.
Supervisor Ballard?
Yes.
Thank you, motion passes.
Highway Commissioner report, Brent Portillo.
Everybody hear me in the back? Loud enough? Yeah. Real quick. The new levy that was tentatively approved tonight, I was able to cut off 25% for next year's taxes. That's good news. That's good news. 40% of the tax levy will be going back to the municipalities that are in the township. Everybody knows that. That's part of it. The road district facility is going to have ribbon cutting in 2 weeks. The facility that was inherited by myself last year had no running water, no toilets, no storage bins for salt, no storage bins for materials. It had no fire protection system. There was no sewer there. It was bare bones. And now, and also the access to it has been paved. So if anybody wants to show up, we have ribbon cutting 3 to 6. You can bring your kids. We'll have candy for the kids because Halloween is right around the corner. We'll have refreshments. And there's going to be some of our trucks out in the yard, so if your kids want to do the touch a truck thing, you're welcome to. It'll be in a safe environment. The 2023 roadway program, next month I'm going to do an assessment of all the assets again to determine which mile of streets is going to be improved for next year. That will be updated in December. If you haven't noticed, 355, there's a bike trail that was just constructed. That's going to be opening next month. There's going to be ribbon cutting on that on the 28th of this month at 10 a.m. It's going to be at the 167th Street Tunnel. There is a spur trail along with it on Galver Road, if you haven't noticed, to connect to the local network. For those of you, if any of you live near Smith Road and Tamling Drive, I have 2 items there. There's Smith Road, I don't know if you've driven on it lately, but it looks like Swiss cheese, the bridge that's over Long Run Creek. I'm entering into an IGA with the city of Lockport and Lockport Township to have a 3-way IGA to repair the bridge. IDOT is going to be providing 80% of the funding for the project. $2.5 million is what they're putting it at. The local match will be $150,000 over 3 years, which is $50,000 a year. I will be in on the bidding on that to review the bids, and those are going to come in next month. Lastly, on Tamling Drive, we had an issue with excessive speeds with cars. We had issues with trucks, and it's a cut through from Smith Road to Archer Road. If you ever run on Tamling Drive, it's a residential street with no sidewalks. The kids got to walk in the road to get to the bus and to get to their friends' houses. And they came to me with the issue last year, and we decided after a bunch of meetings with local agencies and with the residents to put in speed bumps. So we took traffic counts before we put the speed bumps in. We took them last week. There was a 65% reduction in traffic, and the speeds that were up at 52 miles an hour 2 weeks ago are now down to 10. So that was a good thing. So if any of you have issues with trucks or a lot of cars on your street and you're in a residential neighborhood, please let me know if you're in the township limits and I can help you out. That's everything that I have.
Thank you, Brent. Trustee Palmer Morel.
I'll report.
Okay. Homer Township Committee and Trustee reports. The Homer Township Committee, Trustee Mike Bonomo, Cindy LaHock, Kirk Bozen, Trustee Rivera, and Dr. Shake. Mike, you got any comments?
Yeah, I would just like to say this Tuesday, what day was that? The last Tuesday we had bingo. We did it in a Halloween fashion. We had a lot of seniors dressed up for Halloween. We probably had about, what, 30 or 40 that actually dressed in costumes. And at the end, we actually had a contest. We even had one of the seniors dress up as a hockey player and brought a hockey stick. So with the way things are, we were a little worried about that, but she stayed under control. But with it too, we are in the process of making some changes. The way we're handling, we're keeping it pretty low key. I was charging the seniors $5 for 2 cards, and we provide refreshments and everything else, and all of the money goes back to them. We have 10 games, and they were probably, with the amount of people that we were getting, was about 85 to 90. So they were getting an extra, like $35, $40. And no one thought of anything until I did receive a call from the Department of Revenue asking us if we're doing this in a proper way. And I called around to a lot of people that are having bingo, and I must have talked to about maybe 15 or 20. And all of them saying, we don't make any money, whatever. We weren't really thinking anything of it. But I was targeted by the Department of Revenue. So during the Halloween bingo, we didn't charge anything for the bingo cards. We, in terms of prizes, I went out and bought a bunch of gift cards from Jewel, under $10. And then we provided prizes for the Halloween contest, or for the costume contest. And everybody left happy. And for any of you that come to the bingo and make an announcement, our next session is Tuesday on the 8th. It's going to be at the Megaplex. Because of voting restrictions, we're not allowed to have it at Cross of Glory. And going forward, because of the new restrictions that are in hand, we may have to revamp everything going forward with the seniors. And with that being said, we've gotten it up to about 85 to 90 in the Senior Expo as a runoff from the Senior Bingo. And we'll get through it and we'll make it work. And I think I have the seniors' trust, and when they do come to the Megaplex, we will have a new venue and a new way of doing things. And I think it's been a great success. I haven't had not one senior have any issues. And all the food that we provide are from local food vendors. And for the most part, they give me specials or deals. And all the extras, like desserts and whatever, have been contributed by people. Cindy Lahan and myself started it, and it has exploded. With Mark and everyone else that's on the senior board, I can't thank them enough for their help. Angel is awesome, and everyone takes time out of their day on a Tuesday. Me, I work in the city. I come in to spend time with the seniors, and again, I do it because of the way they receive it. They're appreciative, and it gives them something to do. And they did make this community into what it is, and I think it's just payback for us to do what we do for them. And I can't thank them enough for making it happen, and the people that helped me out. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Mark, did you have any comments about the senior?
Yeah, for my part, B, Mark Allen. So I'll just say I agree with everything Mike said. It is the most proud assignment that I have on this board. The other stuff may not be as rewarding sometimes. This is very rewarding. I mean, to see the seniors smile, interact with them. I get teased by my friends that say, "Are you playing or are you hosting?" So I think it's a great thing. Thank you, Mike, for having me on the committee.
I just had a comment. I'd ask my attorney if it's okay to say it, but the township received a letter from an individual complaining about us having bingo for the seniors, and then a couple days after we got the letter, we get the IRS down our back. So shame on the person that did that, because you're not hurting anybody but seniors.
So shame on you guys for not doing that.
Well, we'll go next.
We're supposed to just let you take money from the seniors and trust that you're going to do
You're out of
everything
order.
right with it?
You're out of order.
We don't take any money from this.
Hey, Mike, let me just point out, Mike,
Call to order.
there's voting at the Megaplex on the 9th as well, on the 8th.
You are out of order. There's people here in the back that want to hear the meeting.
We're residents. We're boss of you guys.
The
Don't
people
yell at us.
here want to hear the meeting.
Don't
You're
yell
out
at
of
us.
order.
Don't
You want
yell.
to talk, please
You're not a
leave.
dictator. We're your boss. Talk to us like residents.
Let them have the meeting.
I'm not
They have their
dictating
meeting.
anybody.
Public comments coming up, you can speak.
Okay, Charlotte.
Please be quiet so the people, respect the people in the room. The Land Use Committee, Carmen Morella, myself, and Brent Porfilio, we really don't have anything.
Don't see anything.
And Brent explained the truck task force committee is just himself, and he's already talked about that.
Sorry, in a little bit of haste here, I did forget to mention something in my report about the outdoor lighting. Can everyone hear me?
Can't hear you.
Okay. So in haste, I did forget to mention something about the outdoor lighting. I did have one of our constituents come and help me design the lighting. He did help me go through and look at all of our needs and what was lacking with our lighting. That was actually Jay Rohde. He spent he came over probably about 5 different days, and he spent probably close to maybe 12 to 15 hours to help me design and the design and the layout. Also what type of lighting we could possibly use. He looked at the illumination. We came here in the evening. He set up some can lighting so we can look at the evening to see what it looked like. But I just wanted to mention that I do appreciate him helping me out to look at our needs. So I just wanted to bring that up. All right, that's it.
Okay, now we're going to number 8, accounting. Motion to approve all payment of bills September 2022. Founders Crossing bond, Founders Crossing general assistance, open space, park developer contribution, park, town, road and bridge, and equipment and building.
Can I get a motion, please?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I'll take a roll call. Trustee Rivera.
Yes.
Trustee Garwin.
Yes.
Trustee Conley.
Yes.
Trustee Vanilla.
Yes.
Supervisor Ballage.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Okay, at this time, we need to make I am making a motion to go into executive session briefly. It won't be a real long one. Per section 2C, pending probable litigation against the township. So we're going into executive session briefly. It's not going to be like an hour.
No, you're going out of order. Executive session isn't until the end of the meeting.
Do I get kind of a roll call? I mean, a motion? Go into executive session?
No, public comments is next.
7, 9, 8, 10.
We're told to do this, by the way.
I'll start the motion.
All in favor? Okay, Trustee Vanilla.
Yes.
Trustee Garwin.
Yes.
Trustee Rivera. Trustee Conley. Supervisor Ballage.
Yes.
I said yes, you guys. Rubber stampers, no. Good job. Why are we not on the agenda?
I didn't even know that.
Right.
But they were, because I talked to
It's
him by
brand
phone,
new.
he said, yeah, I didn't know
It's
that.
brand
Yeah,
new,
okay.
so,
Because they used to.
so maybe, no.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right.
I'd like to make a motion to go back into regular session. If I get a motion, please.
I'll motion. I'll second.
Okay, and I'll take a roll call. Trustee Rivera.
Yes.
Trustee Conley.
Yes.
Trustee Garwin.
Yes.
Trustee Benelmo.
Yes.
Supervisor Ballage.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. We are back in regular session. Thank you, everyone, for waiting so patiently. Okay, now, hold on 1 second, please. So now we're going to start public comment. I can wait until you guys are ready. We are going to limit it to a 3-minute comment per person. Please, no interruptions or talking on a turn. We'd like to give everybody respect when they're up there at the podium.
As the counsel for the board, just a reminder for the board and for the public that the board has previously adopted rules of procedure that are governing this meeting, and those include rules governing public comment. And, each public comment will be limited to 3 minutes per commenter as well. And we would please ask that there are no interruptions or talking out of turn. This is public comment. We want everyone to be able to exercise their rights under the Illinois Open Meetings Act to provide public comment. It's not public debate. If you want to have a conversation with any member of the board, I'm sure that they would be happy to arrange that and have that not at a formal board meeting. But if the board is happy to have your comment, if the board also, those rules also provide for dealing with disruptive conduct. So please be advised, if you, any outbursts, any disruptive conduct, you will get 2 warnings, and then you will be asked to kindly leave because we have a lot more to do, and that kind of actions are unacceptable. So thank you.
Okay, so our first speaker for tonight for public comment is John Pinelli.
Do I stand up there?
You can stand up here, yes, John. Thank you.
Oh, right there? Okay.
Yeah, wherever you would.
All right, thank you.
You gotta give him the microphone.
Don't worry, I have a loud voice. Well, hello. As you all have heard, my name is John Pinelli. I like to think that I'm speaking for the young people here, and I think the open space needs to remain open to remind us of the rural characteristics that Homer Township once had. Of course, once you sell off open space, it is gone forever. That wasn't the original intent. This is an important decision to make for this board to make on its own. Specific plans should be made available for all Homer Township residents to vote on. That is all.
Good evening. My name is Ray Sanguinetti. I'm from Wheaton, Illinois, and I thank you for having me in your community. Driving through here, I saw what a beautiful community you truly have, and part of that reason is the open spaces, the farms and fields and the beautiful nature that God has given us. I'm an attorney. I represent some of the concerned citizens here tonight that are strongly opposed to this board selling off 2 parcels of property that were designated as open spaces pursuant to an open space program that was approved by the voters of this township. I want to address 2 important points. I sent you a letter that details all of my concerns. There's 2 important points. One is the vote that was taken on October 22nd, 2021 that allegedly authorized this board to sell this property was procedurally defective on its face and in violation of the Illinois Township Code. For instance, the moderator that was in charge with actually tallying the votes was not allowed to do his job as mandated by Illinois state statute when people objected to the yeas and nays being tallied by the clerk. The law says that the moderator shall, not may, not maybe, or at the permission of the supervisor or the clerk, but shall poll by making people stand up and be counted, or by dividing the room to determine whether or not the vote was valid. That was not done. The meeting was shut down. That act will not stand up in court. So whatever you do tonight, hopefully you do the right thing, listen to your residents, but whatever you do tonight is going to get overturned. And the only people that make money off that are people like me. And while that's a good thing, it's not good for the taxpayers. And second, looking at the actual open space plan versus the open space program, I heard the clerk speak at the last meeting when she was talking about the open space plan. A plan is just that. an idea, a concept, that's when property can be withdrawn from the plan. It doesn't say sold, it says withdrawn or removed, or released is the actual statutory language. Nothing about a sale there. And then once the plan gets approved and it gets voted on and the parcels are actually acquired, it becomes a program. It doesn't say the word one time in the act about selling land. Why? Because there's restrictions. The Illinois legislature did not want you to sell open space land once you have a plan in place and acquire it with taxpayer dollars.
30 seconds, please.
Sure, and that's exactly what you did. So those are the two, that's the thrust of the legal arguments you're going to have in court. And I do want to thank you for the respect you've shown me coming here today. I don't mean to be adversarial, but that's my job, and I do love your community. Thank you.
Gail Schneider.
Hello, can everyone hear me back there? Yes. I'm Gail Snyder, and together with another resident, Mike Campobello, we have retained an attorney on behalf of residents who seek to oppose to stop your attempts to sell our open space lands. Your actions to deliberately keep residents from knowing that you were going to sell open space defied the Open Meetings Act and violated the public trust. Your attempts to keep from the public what you sought to do has given residents only 35 days to try and find out the information you never provided them. Residents feel like they don't know what is happening. They don't have enough information. They feel blindsided. This is a community crisis of your own making and no one else's. The revelation that you were going to sell 140 acres of open space just 35 days ago has caused many to go searching for answers because you never provided them. Your lack of transparency has caused these important issues to devolve into a series of accusations and personal character assassinations by some on this board and their proxies on social media that have been libelous to myself and others. This was all done in an attempt to distract from your actions. Supervisor Balich, you kept secret the sale of open space as long as possible so no one could stop the sale, and now you've sought to distract people with emergency public videos this past week to explain that you should have explained what you should have explained over the past year. In those videos, you continue to distract from your actions and talk about plans for an event center at Trantina Farm. I am not here tonight to talk about what may happen to Trantina Farm. I am here to oppose the part of your plan you kept from the public, which is selling the open space lands to supposedly pay for what you're planning for Trantina Farm. The state statute for open space does not allow for its sale, yet you keep seeking to sell it. Instead of seeking a real solution or clarification on the sale of open space lands by addressing the issue at a state level to amend the statute, you have charged forward, leaving residents the only option available, which is to challenge this possible sale in court. If open space land should be allowed to be sold, then it should not be a judge that decides how and when. This issue should be addressed in the statute with thoughtful insight and input from townships that have thousands of acres of land in open space programs and those vested in the preservation of land. If you seek to move forward with the sale of these lands, you harm not only Homer
30
Township,
seconds, please.
not only Homer Township's open space program, but programs in other townships, and you erode the public trust in future attempts to set lands aside for preservation. I hope you don't accept a bid or a contract this evening, and I want to let the public know we're working out a response to this piece, and we will be posting it on Facebook. It's not accurate and it's misleading.
Okay, Mike Campobello.
How's everybody going? All right. So just want to say something real simple. I think the attorney covered it pretty much. You guys have all been voted into office here. You have a responsibility, and we can just test it right here. How many people are in this place not in favor of selling open space? Raise your hand. Not in favor.
Not in favor.
That's all I have to say. You guys can see it here, so please vote the right way. if you want to stay in these type of positions, these are the people you listen to. You don't listen to one person or a couple of you guys. Listen, your ideas may be good intent. These are the people that you work for.
That's right.
Thank you.
Okay, Nikki Campobello.
I have a loud voice. Good morning or good afternoon. My name is Nicole Campobello, and I am strongly against the sale of any open space lands in Homer Township. I am disappointed in the lack of transparency our Township Board has shown this community. You should be embarrassed by how you've represented our community. Stop the sale of these lands. Trustees, if you value what residents want, vote no to any sale of open space. Thank you.
Brittany Shaler? Shaler?
Hello, my name is Brittany Shaler. I'm a local middle school science teacher, Master's of Environmental Education candidate, and a resident of Homer Glen. I'm here in support of Homer Glen's open space initiative. I object to the sale of the Paul Farm. I object to the sale of the Purdy Farm. I object to the sale of the Welter Farm. I object to the building on the historic Trantina Farm. The sale of these properties goes against the best interests of the residents of Homer Glen. Once we destroy these valuable ecosystems, we will never get them back. Illinois is known as the Prairie State, and at one point, Illinois was covered in 22 million acres of natural prairie. Now, about 2,500 acres. That is less than 0.01% of natural habitat. Once we destroy these natural spaces, we will never get them back. According to the Illinois DNR, the Wildlife Action Plan goal is to significantly increase grassland habitat, while here in Homer Glen, our administrative leaders are doing everything they can to remove the valuable land from our environment. Once we destroy these open spaces, we will never get them back. Community and nature in harmony, our village motto. Destroying nature against the wishes of the community members does not portray the feeling of harmony. What the current administration is doing is crushing any trust the community members may have while destroying assurance in future projects. To every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. When you choose to build on these lands, there will be repercussions. Flooding will be more abundant during stormwater surges. Wildlife will be displaced from their native habitats. Once we destroy these habitats, we will never get them back. The village website states the open space goal is protection and enhancement of the extensive open space areas that are essential to the overall image and character of Homer Glen. The habitat and wildlife goal is preservation, protection, and enhancement of the existing and potential natural resources and wildlife habitat that are enjoyed by the village residents. The residents of Homer Glen enjoy these spaces. Organisms that inhabit these areas rely on these habitats for survival. Once we lose these naturalized areas, we will never get them back. A few snippets from the wildlife and habitat objectives on the website: to preserve and manage existing natural resources.
Brittany, 30 seconds,
to educate residents, and I would like to add educate administrative leaders about the roles that natural resources and wildlife play in maintaining a high quality of life. Preservation and protection of natural resources in environmentally sensitive areas. Encourage access by community residents, especially children, to public wildlife habitats and natural areas. This year I'll be voting against whoever the opponent is running against you, Steve Ballack. You are untruthful, uneducated, and absolute embarrassment to Homer Glen. Your challenge for answering questions, make it an easy choice to vote for any
order, please, point of order, please. I'm not sure if it's Brandon or Brendan Griffin. Brendan?
Brandon.
Brandon?
Yes. Hello, my name is Brandon Griffin. I'm here tonight as a resident of Homer Township to oppose the sale of any open space lands. I grew up in Homer Township, and I moved back here 7 years ago to raise my family. One of the main draws for me and my wife were the open spaces and the nature around us. There's no shortage of developable farmland in Homer Township and in the surrounding areas, but the open spaces are a special place that still helps hold the character of this community. The rushed effort to sell off this open spaces is troubling. The effort to sell the Paul and Purdy farms was sprung on us with no warning at last month's meeting. And on the agenda for later tonight is to open a bid and potentially sell these lands. As somebody mentioned before, 35 days. That is no time at all. Some of the board members insist that they won't be changing the zoning of this land before any sale, and that may be true, but ultimately they can't stop things from being rezoned in the future and from development occurring. If a developer is interested in this land, if they're going to buy it, they're going to develop it. Why wouldn't they pick any of the hundreds upon hundreds of acres that are for sale all around us otherwise? There's been no transparency in this process. I'd like to quote one of the current trustees, what he said during his 2021 campaign. And he said, I quote, he wanted to strengthen the township's commitments to preserving open spaces and the natural beauty of the township, and that he would bring transparent, open, and fair governance to the residents of Homer Township. I'm asking that you all uphold these ideas. Involve the community in any of these efforts to modify, sell, or develop our community-owned land. Hold a referendum on these plans. These are substantial changes to our community. Get our buy-in. Get us, know that you have the community behind you instead of against you before you do this. I'm just asking you, please, do not sell these lands. Thank you.
Okay, Sherry Coble.
I'm going to take like 30 seconds. I wish I could give like 2.5 minutes to Brittany. My name is Sherry Coble. I moved to Homer Township as a child in 1982. My husband and his family have been residents since 1980. As adults, we chose to build our home here. We are voters. We did vote for the referendum with the understanding that the township would be seeking grants to build the pole barn structure. There was no mention of the need to sell open space land to fund the construction. We are against the sale of the properties. We love this community and its open space in spite of the high taxes and the high water bills. It's not too much to ask that our elected officials are honest and transparent in their intentions. This bait and switch is unacceptable. We do not support the sale of the open space land.
David Shilney.
Good evening. My name is Dave Shilney. I'm a resident of Homer Glen, Old Oak South. This was already said, and I'll say it again. Last year, something was said that we would strengthen the township's commitment to preserving open spaces and the natural beauty of the township. Where did the bait and switch come from? We will be transparent, open, and fair governance to the residents of Homer Township. Again, the bait and switch. You know, there is one thing that everybody in this room takes and has for themselves. And once you lose it, you'll never get it back. And that is integrity. The integrity is lost. You will never get it back. You control that. Everyone sitting up there controls it. We all control our own integrity. And it's gone. You'll never get it back. And finally, I want to apologize to everybody. My wife, for the first time in 41 years, is going to know something that I did when I voted. I voted for this circus, and I'm sorry. Don't sell this land.
Tracy Bratcher.
Hey, Romo, you ready? I wrote a poem on the way here. Okay, got your pen ready, Romo? Where's your pen? There. Okay. I do not like you guys. I do not like your lives.
Can't hear you.
Oh, I'll say it louder. Thank you. I do not like you guys. I do not like your lies. I do not like how you take from the taxpayers' pies. I do not like your quid pro quos. I do not like how you thumb your nose. I do not like that you take our land to dispose. I don't like your nepotism. I do not like your racism. I do not like your Christian nationalism. I do not like your mob mentality. I do not like the way y'all sound like Sean Hannity. Open space is ours to have, not yours. Perhaps the people that line your pockets, like developers, don't see it, but open space has tremendous value, even if it's just a lot of corn. Take it, and if you take our land, you can see yourself out the doors. And I added this just now, because of this meeting. If you guys really care about seniors so much, that lighting would be in their complex, in their community, because they say they can't see. Do you guys even pay attention to that? Install senior necessities like raised toilets or whatever they need. That's what you should be paying attention to now, getting votes from the senior bingo. We know what you guys are doing. And then stop raising the rent, Mr. Taxpayer Watchdog. Yeah, watch money go right in your pocket. The end.
Margaret Sabo.
I want to close this so that you can hear me. My voice is soft. And I'm very appreciative of all of you came today and love what you're saying. So I present this to the Homer Township Supervisor and Trustees. Every Homer Township Board elected by the residents is supposed to represent the residents. The current Homer Township Board, composed of Supervisor and Trustees, seems to be representing itself alone. Some of their jobs are to hold meetings that are announced beforehand. Discuss plans of public meetings, be transparent. Invite resident input, represent residents, do good, do good. This board has done none of these. In fact, because of trying to sell designated open space, they have made enemies of the very people they are supposed to represent. That's you, the residents. Every Homer Township Board has been trying to improve Homer Township as they plan for its future. However, this current board has been giving away and trying to sell land, thereby chipping away at the very foundation of Homer Township and the work of Homer Township boards in the past. This reduces quality of life for its residents and lessens the residents' chance for good opportunities in the future. We have heard that this board will not increase taxes. However, they want to sell hundreds of acres of designated open space land that will increase school taxes, because most likely more houses will be built on these lands. and then more schools are needed. Strange how plans and ideas change. A simple barn on Trantina Farm was proposed to be built with grant money by the last Homer Township Board. There are people in this, that sit in this room that were part of that planning, and we were seeking a grant. Some of the people on this board before were voted in and objected to such a building for a community
30
center,
seconds, please.
a simple pole barn, because it would compete with the Nolfos, a large banquet facility. At present, this board proposes an extremely glorified and very costly building that more than competes with the Nolfos and would draw people far and wide. I say to all of you, I'm Margaret Sabo, resident of Homer Glen and Homer Township, please keep it up. Don't lose the fight.
Alan Moriarty.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for standing up, speaking out. Thanks, George. Well, I'll hold it. Okay, so I just have a couple questions concerning the agenda. The audit, I was looking to see where I could read it. I couldn't see it in the paper. Could you tell me what paper it was published in and when? But we don't have a local paper, so I'm always confused when you say you publish things in the paper. And the outdoor lighting, where was the public notice of that bid, and what is the scope of work on that? You know, did you let your fingers do the walking through the yellow pages to find 3 people who could bid on it? I don't understand. Then you're wondering why they're not calling you back. You should let people come to you. The attorney, Mr. Sanguinati, made a comment about how, you know, these kind of deals that oftentimes when they become contentious, that it seems to be the attorneys who work, you know, who make out in them. Well, I can tell you that, you know, there's been a lot going on with the attorneys here in Homer, Odelson, Stirk, particularly. So I just want to point out that from July 21 through August 22, just Homer Township has paid $83,718.01 just to Odelson Stirk. I won't go into what the village has paid them. And then I have FOIA'd many of those bills, just so you know. And the FOIAs that I got were about 85% redacted, every line. So I would like to know what Odelson Stirk is hiding. Okay, so when we say that we knew nothing about what was coming with this whole deal with, you know, the land, and they're doing research and they can sell it and everything else and the titles, and well, you know, obviously they did this on the advice of the attorney. I don't know, and then we've got a bunch of redacted bills. Something funny's going on. The road levy or the road budget is being reduced by 25%. I'm a little confused there because you have 80% less roads than what you had under Mr. DeVivo.
That was last year.
30 seconds,
but you're getting the same salary. So Mr. DeVivo made $60,000 a year for 159 miles of roads, and you're making $60,000 a year for 18 miles of roads.
20 seconds.
I don't get it. When is your salary going down, Mr. Porfilio? Thank you.
It still works.
Gerald Traffic.
Good evening, Gerald Schramm, 16531 Catawba, over Glen, Illinois. The proposed sale of the township open space is wrong on so many different levels that other residents here today have spoken to. And I wanted to address in part the lack of authority of this board to sell open space property. Mr. Sanguinetti addressed the major points, but you would think when you are looking to undertake such a dramatic action that you would have had at least a letter of opinion from council giving the authority to sell open space land. Now, I've heard our supervisor say, well, the state statutes give me the authority, but I've never heard any specific reference to a statute that would give him authority to sell open space land. I take it that an opinion of council letter was never received because at the last meeting, our supervisor said he had the authority based upon the investigations of the township clerk. The township clerk made 2 points. One was reference to an obscure newsletter back in the 1999, which is of no force and effect whatsoever. And the other was extracting a sentence from the Open Space Act referring to the plan, not the program. And as pointed out by council, the ability to withdraw at the plan stage is totally different from the ability to withdraw at the program stage. Interestingly enough, the statute does give the board authority to do certain things. It enumerates them. You know, you can even lease land up to 50 years. But nowhere in that statute does it say you have the authority to sell land. And I would hope that after the showing here today, that this town board would reconsider the position it has taken. One final thought. When you were campaigning for office, had you told the public that you supported selling open space?
30 seconds, please.
Do you think you'd be sitting here today?
No. Jed Leskowitz? Laskowski.
Yeah.
Thank you, George. I'm Debbie Laskowski and I've lived in Homer Glen 20 years. One of the reasons we bought here was because of the promise of open space. 23 years ago, Homer Glen leadership worked long and hard on the land acquisitions and the creation of the open space plan and open space program. The base intent was to preserve our urban and rural uniqueness and to prevent overdevelopment. I have to say, my husband and I saw many areas that we didn't even know existed on our sign deliveries. This village and township are truly amazing. You need not ruin it with your unwanted proposal of selling our open space to a developer for a community center or whatever pops into your head on any given day. Further, it's not yours to sell. It seems to me Heritage Park has plenty of room for a community center if that's what you want to do. Your campaign promise of preserving open space was nothing but a big untruth. Simply your propaganda in getting folks to vote for you. If you insist on pushing ahead with the sale of any open space land, it must go to a referendum, as you promised when the Walter Farm was up for your land grab. We, the people, will then show you by vote how we really feel about our open space. Don't mess with our open space.
Mary Ann Riley Jensen?
Yeah, you were going to read it?
You were supposed to read it at the meeting for me?
I'm sorry?
You were supposed to read my email?
Well, you're here, so you can read it.
I don't have it with me. You could read it.
Well, I'll give it to you, you can read it. Give me 1 second. Actually, why don't we go to the next person, Mary Ann? And then I'll
Okay,
grab
okay.
yours. Thanks.
Bill Schaub.
I really didn't know where I wanted to go with this because I really wanted to see where everybody else went before I got there. So just a very brief history lesson. Myself, Margaret, Gail, Pam Meyer couldn't be here. We were all here at the very, very beginning of this. I was here from a whole different angle, so let me be very clear with you, and especially anybody involved in the athletic organizations. Back when I got on part of this Open Space Act, I was the president of Homer Athletic Club. 4 years, very proud, great organization. At the time, I had a very selfish part of this though. My whole hope, because we were so dying for more baseball fields, was let's get this open space going, let's understand it, and let's figure out how we can build some baseball parks on there. It took a while to understand, working with the people here, that that wasn't what this was about. What this was about was creating corners, and you'll notice where they're strategically positioned, to create a corner for these fields, for this open space. It wasn't about more baseball parks, it wasn't about a recreation building. It was about that cornfield that Steve stood in front of and sat there and had cars buzzing by him at 50 miles an hour. Monica and I are the last piece of property on the south part of Gallagher. That's Homer Township. We've been there for 33 years. In that 33 years, we've seen basically 5 cars to 50 cars in a day. Now we get 50 cars every 30 seconds or more. It takes us 3 to 5 minutes to get out of our driveway sometime. And you're going to put housing. You say it's not going to be, Steve, but it will be. You're going to put housing on that Purdy farm. Go there to any one of the cross T, the 4-way stop that'll probably soon be another light. It's all about what they're going to do with that property. And all of us know that property is not going to become stay open space. Who's going to spend the money for that? It's going to become houses. It's going to get developed. And now instead of 50 cars every day at rush hour to get through a 4-way stop, we're going to have 100. I ask you not to vote for this. There's no sense for it. We don't need another recreation area. And as everybody has said, we need open space. It was meant to happen back when we were here back then. Let's keep this going. Please consider the vote of everybody here. We don't want this.
Okay, Mary Ann Riley Jensen.
Oh, okay, all right, it's very short, yes.
My name is Mary Riley Jensen. I reside in Spring Creek Woods on Homeward Land for over 30 years, and I'm opposed to the sale of open space. There's a personal issue. I've been a nurse for over 40 years and actively care for patients with respiratory diseases. And exposure to green space benefits their health by reducing mortality and morbidity for chronic diseases. Living or working near green spaces improves mental health, chronic respiratory ailments, and cardiovascular and cognitive outcomes. To lessen green spaces would greatly impact our community. What I'm asking for is to prevent what has happened in our surrounding areas. Building more will only impact our health and well-being. Thank you.
Okay, Jim Shake.
Okay, what's this open space thing all about? Maybe you're a little bit confused, maybe you don't feel like you have enough information. I mean, there's been a lot of lies going on about the open space. Why? It's a political coup, basically. Just to get you guys out of office, right? So, why are you here? You're here because you saw something going on with the township that you didn't like. Their taxes were going up $300, $400, $500, $600 every single year. You knew something was wrong. You're here because Steve Ballich came to you and said, listen, trust me, we're going to fix where we live, okay? And you did it. You ran on transparency, you ran on cutting taxes, and you cut taxes. It took about a year because it was so freaking messed up.
Excuse me.
You cut taxes, and you cut taxes, and you cut down on the spending, and you did a good job. And you know what? People started coming out of the woodwork and volunteering. Okay, volunteers set up and staffed and paid for the Easter egg hunt, and then the mob came after it. Right? Volunteers staffed and paid for the senior bingo. Okay, these people up here pay out of their own pockets for senior bingo. Right? And then the mob comes after you and says, "What? You're stuffing your pockets, right?" Don't fear the mob, okay? We have to fight against the mob. These people, a lot of these people don't even know what the open space was in the beginning.
Please give him a chance to talk. I want to hear what he has to say. Just
the
like
flyers that came out, listen, the flyers that came out says right on the flyers, and this was to educate the voter on how to vote for open space. The flyers came out and said open space can be used for parks, housing, and commercial. That's what it said. So are they lying to the people now, or did they lie to the people back then when they voted for it? Both. You know, both. It's interesting that a lot of the people up here talking are former trustees. Okay? The former trustees got voted out for a reason. Because it was freaking corrupt. So, you're talking about Fred Portfolio? You want to talk about Fred Portfolio? $3 million. $3.5 million that the previous district road manager wanted to raise your levy, $3 million. Fred Portfolio came and stopped that. That's why your taxes are low now. These people have busted their ass for you to lower your taxes. Okay? You want to talk about stuffing your pockets? Let's talk about stuffing your pockets. Okay? This guy comes to township meetings in his work clothes. Why? Because he works all day long. Stuffing his pockets. He's doing a really crappy job of stuffing his pockets. Let's talk about this guy, the big guy, right? He's stuffing his pockets, right? He's driving around in a freaking Hyundai. He's stuffing his pockets.
Our attorney said, and he's right, everybody had a time to speak, and everybody listened, and when they got done, they clapped. As soon as Jim Shea got up there and said something contrary to what you wanted to hear, not everybody, there was a lot of people being rude and screaming so that people that needed to hear them. Ma'am, you're doing it right now.
Everybody had a chance to talk.
Don't point your finger at me. This is not pointing my finger at you. You don't need to be lied to. You guys are corrupt. Don't you dare call these people corrupt. You guys are corrupt. You have a chance to speak. Don't ever fucking threaten me again. Christina, I see you ever threaten me again.
There's
children. She's dramatic.
There's reasons.
I'm waiting for silence. Oh, well. I gave everybody else a chance to speak in silence. Yes, thank you.
okay, we have to respect everybody's opinion. So that means when people talk, be quiet and listen to what the person is saying out of respect for everybody. So it's not fair to people, if you don't like what they're saying, that you scream and yell so nobody can hear it. Maybe there's some things that are not what you want to hear, but if you hear it, it may change your mind. Or it may not. I don't know. But we need to have respect and decorum here.
We have to listen to your propaganda.
Art, and excuse me if I kill your name here, Holzhauser, Art Holzhauser.
That's me. So, my name is Bart Holzhauser. My family moved out here in 1977. Been here ever since, minus a few years for college, growing up, raising a family here. And wasn't really my intention to talk, I just didn't want to miss the opportunity to talk because it seems like what's going on here, like a lot of people have said, people don't know what's going on. Now the room's filled, we're finding out, and I feel like it's just being rammed down my throat. And I'm not going to stand up here or be mad about whatever happens and know that it happened without me not saying anything. So I'd like to tell all you guys, me, my family, my friends, no one I've talked to has ever said this was a good idea. We looked at the ballot, we gave you the permission to seek grant funding to build a pole barn-like structure. And you were against it. 2 years later, now you're for it, and you're laying out a $7 million plan with nothing to back it up. I don't understand it. I need it explained to me like I'm a 3-year-old. So you guys gotta do that. You gotta keep the public involved if you want to keep that spot. Or you could be one-term wonders. I don't know. I mean, it's just out of hand, and you're not listening to the people in the room. You're just not. So I wish I could give the rest of my time to Brittany as well. But the chairs seem to drown out the biggest point. So that's it.
Okay, Teresa Kakanda.
Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to thank the 2 people on this board that replied to my email that I sent out on Friday. I appreciate the response and that you read the email, so thank you. Good evening. As you know, my name is Teresa Casanda. My husband and I lived and raised 3 children here since 1985. I worked for Homer 33C Schools for 30 years and I'm retired from there. I have 2 items to speak about. One is open space. First, I voted for the $8 million of tax money to be spent to preserve some open space property. I voted after many surveys, meetings, and workshops were held. I educated myself before I voted. The board ran on transparency, but I have not seen that yet. There has been no surveys, meetings, or workshops about whether we want this open space sold. I keep hearing there's going to be a workshop in November. November's too late. The property will be sold, money will begin being spent. This is not the way to run on transparency. The other item that makes me angry, Steve, is you're selling 7 parcels of open space land to families who encroached on this land that is not theirs. Because you said, and this is a partial quote, they are nice people. There are thousands of nice people that live in Homer Glen. What do you say to those people who over the years had to move fences, sheds, water features, etc. because they encroached on property that wasn't theirs? What do you say to them? Everything I've done on my property has been done with a permit, and you can pull them here. I am not opposed to having a community center, or whatever you're going to call it tonight. The name has changed several times over the past 2 months. I think a community center would be a benefit, but not at the expense of selling open space. In my opinion, this community center should be housed right here at Heritage Park, and it could even be maybe added on to this building here where we already have electric, water, plumbing, parking. This would be the perfect spot for a community center. 30 seconds, please. Now I want to talk about your volunteer program. Sorry, not open space. I asked why I was not allowed to be a volunteer at senior bingo or for the food drive. Steve responded and said to me, we have enough volunteers. I requested back in July, after the July meeting, when Mike was very
7
upset
seconds.
because people were complaining about bingo and nobody wanted to help. I went up and said, I want to be the
Teresa,
solution.
I'm sorry, now your 3
Problem.
minutes are up, but thank you very much, Teresa.
I would like both of my,
I have 3 minutes.
No, you cannot give somebody else your 3 minutes. It's per person, I'm sorry.
That is per person.
Yeah.
I'm a person, she's a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this go on and on.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, but Teresa, thank you.
okay. I have 2 things I would like to have put in with the minutes tonight.
Yes, please
It's
bring
my
mine.
email from Friday and my notes from tonight.
Yeah, I have your email, but
Thank you. And anybody wants to see the rest of my speech, I have a copy here.
Okay, Karen Worth.
Hi. I wrote something out, left my paper at home, so this will come straight from my heart, or somewhere. Everybody in this room, I think every single one of you is my neighbor. And I was raised to respect your neighbors, work with your neighbors. I never knew or cared if my neighbor was a Democrat or Republican, or if they were Catholic or Lutheran. It didn't matter, we were neighbors. And I'm a nice person, usually. And just for the record, I agree with what everyone said about the open space. The open space should stay. I don't want it sold. My son played baseball with Robbie Rivera. And my son, my husband and I are getting, a little older now. My son said, Mom, I think I want to buy your house and raise my kids in Homer Glen because he was raised here. So, we bought our house in 1988. And I actually had the thought, I'm thinking, maybe you should go to Shorewood or something because these people are coming in and trying to make it look like Orland Park West. But I'm not ready to give up yet. Well, too many franchises. I didn't want to get into all that. My offer is, I agree with the previous speaker, you need to use the people in the room, your neighbors. You've got a lot of smart people out there. I also volunteered to help with the senior committee. My father just passed away. I was taking care of him. Couldn't quite put the time in when I volunteered, but I've noticed that the committees are made up of the people at the table. They're not really committees, they're board meetings. So I'm offering my talent and my cooperation again because I really don't want to see you fail. If you fail, we all fail. We already look like fools to the neighboring area. So I know some of you individually, I like you, I know you have good intentions, and I know you work hard, but something's not working. My business background, and people have mentioned this already too, is in strategic planning, and same thing. I would like to see a community plan, 3-year plan, 5-year plan for a community, and under that plan, the programs you're working on. We need the transparency. That's the only thing that I hold against you, is that you promised us transparency, and we've been running around like crazy people trying to figure out what in the world.
Karen, 30 seconds.
Okay, what is going on here? I mean, we have people that work full-time jobs that are trying to figure out what happened 20 years ago. Forget it. Let's just start now, communicate, be transparent, and use the people that can help the community. So that's all I have to say.
Sharon Swees.
When I sit too long, I am totally against the sale of public lands and open space properties. Is this board going to act as if they privately own these properties and do whatever they want with them? I see signs saying, fix where we live, and that means there are problems. Yes, there's problems being created by this board. One of those problems is the selling of open space properties. Residents voted through referendum to establish and preserve open space programs, and it needs to remain open space.
John Coyne. John, are you here?
Yeah, he's done.
Don't start the clock yet.
You know, I've heard a lot of stories go on, but I've heard a few tonight. One like with Olson and Sturk and Village. And I just don't know what to say other than, I forgot my glasses, so this is gross. But tomorrow I'm going to send in a FOIA. I want to find out what we paid, the taxpayers paid for these properties and what they're looking for to sell them. Now, we're years ahead of when we got them. Not another 51 years, so with that, hey, we have to get, if we get what we want, we should get our people building this stuff if we want it, but not with the homes and all some of this other junk that they're talking about. Other than that, there's an election coming up the 8th of November. Just remember who's running.
Ron Severo.
Old people walk slow. I demand extra 6 seconds.
You got it.
Not funny. Okay, Ron Savar, I have been a member of this community for 45 years. Yay! Woo! In the late 90s, one of my representatives was township supervisor. So in the late 90s, the town board said, let's go to a vote and see if we want open space, and it won with a lot of support from people. You see that was very popular. And so we started to buy some property. And one of the properties that was for sale was on 151st and Bell, with frontage on Bell Road. And I'm thinking, let's buy that baby, save it for 4 or 5 years, then cut that front off and make a lot of money. So I recommended that until somebody says, you can't sell open space. I said, what? So I went into the state statute. The state statutes tell you what your authorities are, I believe. And I did that about a week ago. You do have the authority to lease it for 50 years, and anything that's on the land after 50 years is yours. But I'm telling you, to this day, there is no authority in there to sell open space. Okay, so around this country there are judicial proceedings everywhere. And so you got a lot of lawyers, and one lawyer says yes, and the other lawyer says no. So no, every day, half the lawyers in this country are wrong. This is a state statute. So what I would really recommend to you is to contact a legislator, a rep, or a state senator, and see if they will give you the position of the state of Illinois regarding this issue. I think that is due diligence, and I think that would put you on firmer ground if you could show by the state, rather than by an attorney, I'm skeptical, that you do have the authority to do this. When the vote comes up, you have 4 different choices. You can vote yes on any issue. You can vote no. You can vote a table. If you wanted to do your own research, you go online at State of Illinois statutes, and then there's a line in there that says open space, township open space. And that's where I believe you get your authority.
Ron, 30 seconds, please.
Yes, ma'am. So you can vote to wait for this, or you can amend it, my favorite one. And what I would suggest, you can bring the community together, I believe. You can amend it and say, let's go out for a vote, and if that doesn't work, then we'll sell open space. And I have a hunch that a lot of people in this room would say, okay, we'll vote, this would be $2.5 million, 1/3 of what that other committee allowed or went for.
lost all of the EAV, it'd be a very...
Ron, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I did give you the extra 4 seconds that you had. Okay? Just so you know, all right? Thank you, Ron. Okay, Mary Nemec.
Supervisor, trustees, thank you for listening to us. And my name is Mary Nemec. I'm a 36-year resident here in Homer Township. I have served on the Homer Township Plan Commission. I was part of the incorporation committee for Homer Glen, and I was a village trustee for 12 years. And this is the very first time that I've spoken on this side of the table. So I know what you're feeling back there. I hope what you're doing is listening with open minds. There are 5 votes on this board. 5. All of you trustees have a vote. You can, as Ron said, you have options. Please listen to this community. Open space is something that folks are very passionate about. Your literature, your campaign literature, and I'm going to repeat what a number of folks have said. Your campaign literature said you will go for a referendum for anything over $1 million. Your campaign literature said you would be transparent. Your campaign literature said you would preserve open space. At minimum, take this to a referendum. Let the community decide. That's your obligation as elected officials. Thank you.
Jonathan, is it Logan or Logan?
Logan.
Logan, thanks.
Hi, I'm Jonathan. I live on Gauger, over by the Oak Prairie High School, pretty close to the Trantina farm that you guys are talking about developing. I can't speak for everyone, but I'm pretty sure nobody wants to sell the open space. But one thing I can say is that the corner of Gauger and 151st has already been so developed, it is unbelievable. And on the other end of the street on 159, now we have another gas station going in. So while I can appreciate the convenience, I love that everyone can get good gas really close. It's cool. I like Dunkin' Donuts. I go there all the time. The trucks that come down my street are obscene. I know there are several signs, cops sit there sometimes. I'm just kind of scared of what's going to happen if our area is further developed. It seems like that corner has already taken a substantial hit in development. So I'm just kind of scared of what your guys' plans may be, and I hope you guys vote against it like everyone here's hoping. So, thank you.
Missy Schmuck.
Hi. Hi there, my name is Missy Schmoke. I'm a teacher at Lockport Township High School. Hello everyone. I'm not going to go all hostile. I just want to let you know I teach in the special ed department, world languages. I've taught science, reading, health, English, math, personal adjustment, and currently American Sign Language. I teach about cultures and the lands and all the good stuff that comes with students. But most importantly, we take a look at being open-minded and doing your research and teaching to be honest and fair. Those are good citizens of Lockport Township High School. I'm very proud to be a part of that. And, you know, come here to speak to you all on behalf of the students and everyone that we teach to act this way. I'm not seeing that, I'm not hearing that, and I just hope that all the community support and the voices, you are listening, I know that. We don't have a lot of places to get away here, open lands. I moved from Oni out to Lockport this past summer, about a year ago, and I really like our open lands. I do use them. I use them with my dog. You know, I walk with graduated students out there. It's a great place to go see nature. You can take that science class on a field trip out there. You know, and I'm looking at the national parks, public lands, open spaces, they're pretty much for everyone, and not just, you know, our few people on the board to vote for. So how do I explain to my students when people don't do what's right and violate rules? I'm gonna throw this in there. Shady is not a sign I normally teach in my classroom, but after hearing some of the stuff and reading the research, it could be the extra credit word of the week. I ask you to vote no and beg you to vote no. This land needs to be preserved now for current and future generations, please. It once had the opportunity to hike and stand where Teddy Roosevelt once had his vision for our national parks. And I'm a huge user of the national parks and public lands. So standing in the middle of nowhere, Medora, North Dakota, these lands out here are tiny, but they are so important to the people, the nature around us. You know, we still get the coyote running through our subdivision, but as we continue to develop, it's concerning where our little deer is going to go, and our bunny rabbits. But please be as revolutionary as Teddy Roosevelt was once with the preservation for generations to come. Please vote no. See the green in the lands and not the green in the dollars. Woo!
Thomas Logan.
Hi, my name is Thomas Logan. I also live on Galder, and so I'm as far as the free space, I am against that. I don't understand how, if this all began with building a barn on Trentino Farm, which is probably a good fit for community activities, how does that turn into a monster of a community center with 300 parking lot space all in that corner? It's way over the top, and I don't see a need for all that. I think that we should, you know, stay within our means of in this community and definitely not sell off land that was donated to us or that we bought at a very fair price. You know, that's like our strategic oil reserve, that land. We don't just sell it off because we want to spend money. So I think it all has to be voted on with the community. That's all I got. Thanks.
Brock Backel.
I'm Brock Backel. My wife and I moved into Homer Glen in 1994, and I could ask the village or the township board as to how many of them attended the founders meetings that we were holding in garages and basements and kitchen tables, but I can tell you that I don't recall seeing any of them there. You know, the founders are the seniors that you profess to care about.
Yeah.
And when I hear Mike Manomo talk about the seniors, take a look in the crowd. The founders are the seniors that we care about. Care about them. You know, they're not just a vote, although that's all you see them for.
Christina Knightsky-Troike.
First, I'd like to commend this board for your resolution in regards to the Safety Act. I'm sure the majority of this room agrees with me that we commend you for that resolution. I'd also like to thank Trustee Riviera and Trustee McGowan for taking a survey outside Jewel on open space and question the residents on the community center. I would be interested in hearing the results on that when you have time, if you can do so later today. When I first heard about the possible event center, I tried to collect as much information as possible, but couldn't gather much. I couldn't gather much to form my own opinion one way or another. I have heard many rumors and watched Supervisor Balich's videos, but still couldn't grasp the who, the whats, the whys, and the when. Board, I give you the benefit of the doubt. I know what it's like firsthand to be lied about and how the rumor mill works. So I truly feel for you, but I have a feeling this isn't just a rumor. Again, I don't have all the information, so I ask you this. Will the event center be used year-round? Will it have heat, air, water, sewer, a fire suppression system? What will this building cost? What will it cost our residents? What will you charge each person that wants to use it? I just heard today roughly $7 million. I can tell you this, you could buy Konos Farm for $7 million. I have 10 years of experience in this exact type of business, including starting it from the ground up. I know all the costs and the time it takes to start something like this and make it successful. And when I say successful, I don't mean proceeds. I reference the free community events Konos already does, which includes special needs events, fundraisers, senior bingos, scouting events, Veterans Day events, car shows, dog rescues, food drives, and so on. We need another location for this? Why? Why don't you try working with your already existing businesses and creating more community events? I'm sure they would love the opportunity to do so. Residents voted for you, and Attorney Shremick stole my line earlier. Residents voted for you and put you in those chairs. I'm willing to bet if you ran your campaign on selling open space and building an event center, the outcome of your election may have turned out differently. I used to know you guys, the old you. The old you would be standing here fighting with the residents, not against us. Not sure what happened to you or who got a hold of you, but this community would like their community back. Stop trying to take it from us. Thank you.
Okay. Mine's real simple. We came here a few weeks ago and we told her that this isn't your property. This is none of your property. It's townships, but who paid for it? Everyone that's out here paid for it. If you decide that this is what you're going to push, then you owe all these people a hell of a lot of money. And I'm sure they could care less about the money. Right now it is open space. That's what we're known for. It's not the way it is right now, and it's an absolute shame. Because right now we look like a bunch of fools. Everyone in this, including me. It shouldn't be this way. This shouldn't be a battle. This is something that's real simple. None of us are politicians. We're supposed to be public servants. Why don't you guys become one? It'll be real good for you.
For everybody that spoke. We're going to go to old business now. We have an update on the Trantina annexation. The Village of Homer Glen will be voting on the Trantina annexation, which we passed at our board on October 26th. So it's, I think it's going to be the 16th of
October 26th hasn't happened yet?
I believe the village is voting on this in the first meeting in November. But our board already passed annexing the Trantina farm to the Village of Homer Glen.
You want to correct that date?
October 26, 2022.
The Village of Homer Glen will be annexing the Trantina farm. It's going to be on their agenda, October 26th.
That's not what Steve just says.
Okay, if you read the agenda, it is exactly what it says here. Update on the Trantina annexation. The Village of Homer Glen will be voting on the Trantina annexation, which we passed as a board at the October 26, 2022 meeting.
It's just, we're moving on to the next one. Homer Glen is the one that has to vote on it. We've already voted on it. So that will be coming up in Homer Glen. And they will be annexing the Trantina farm at that point. Then we have okay, the farm leases for the open space properties that we have are coming up for farm leases, so We don't know what's gonna happen, so the Welter Farm has 1 more year on the lease, so we don't need to redo that lease, but we have the Paul and the Purdy Farm, and since we didn't get anybody making an offer on the Paul Farm, we definitely gotta get a lease for the Paul Farm. And then the Purdy Farm, we're gonna have a lease drawn up, but in there'll be a codicil that says that if we sell the thing, the person that buys it becomes the owner, and they can continue to lease it or farm it themselves or whatever they want to do with the A1 piece of property. So we're going to be moving forward next month on the farm leases. So I think we have to have a motion to move forward on the farm leases.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, motion? Get a second?
I'll second the motion.
I'll take a roll call. Trustee Rivera? Trustee Conley?
Yes.
Trustee Garwin?
Yes.
Trustee Bonomo?
Yes.
Supervisor Ballage?
Yes. Okay, at this point, the clerk's gonna read a statement about the open space program and about what's going on and give everybody an idea what's happening.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, first of all, I just wanted to mention that I had printed off a bunch of these history of the Homer Township Open Space Program. I'm not sure if everyone had gotten it or not. If you can share with your neighbor, that would be great. The first thing I wanted to mention was about the Open Space Program. I guess there's been a little bit confusion about open space versus open space program. Now this is, I know Mr. Savara had talked about the open space program and how they passed it back in 1998. But I did want to reiterate one of the things that they talked about in a newsletter that they passed out. They sent it to every home, sorry. September of 1998. I do have it here, and if you'd like, I can email you a copy. And there are copies here, actually. And just to read directly from this newsletter that was sent to all the residents of Homer Township, again, September of 1998. In regards to the open space program, I'll read it word for word. All localities are not best suited to park status. Some tracts acquired under the open space program may logically be used for residential or commercial purposes. Our township can, at any time, release, in parentheses, sell parcels, which will then be used for the intended purposes. The monies from the sale can be used to purchase other real estate. Thus, an open space program will significantly increase the ability of Homer Township to control land use and development. So that again was issued by the board that was in office September of 1998, including, and Ron, I don't want to single you out, but I don't think you mind, Ron Savara was a supervisor at that time. Secondly, I wanted to also mention June 25th, 2002. This was a Board of Trustees workshop meeting at the Village of Homer Glen. This is in regards to Trantina. So originally Trantina was, I believe, 76 acres. Sorry. I am talking about the Welter Farm. I do apologize. June 25th, 2002, regarding the Welter Farm. There was a workshop, and a couple of people that were present at the workshop, I want to name some names. They are here tonight. Trustee Sabo, Trustee Snyder, and Trustee Nemec. They were all trustees on the board when this was passed. So, what it was is, Welter Farm was originally 76 acres. And what they decided to do is carve out portions of Welter Farm. In other words, they decided to sell portions of the 76 acres, bringing Welter Farm down to 40 acres. Now in Township Code, in order for it to be considered open space, it must be 50 acres. In essence, by carving out these parcels, Welter Farm can no longer be considered open space.
That is not true.
That is absolutely the truth. I gave you a chance to speak. Now, it's my turn, and I have this right here in front of me, the truth.
Where's the sources?
Sir, please come up here and grab this. Did you grab this pamphlet? Grab the pamphlet.
I have that from the last.
Grab the pamphlet.
Sir, everyone was given a chance to talk.
Thank you.
Just to make clear, that's not
Thank
the
you.
original.
Thank you. It's my turn. Yes, this is the original, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry. That's too bad.
It's not the original.
So anyways, the map amendment, if you don't like what I'm saying, I'm stating the facts here, okay? Obviously, I listened to you. Now you can listen to my facts. The map amendment for Trantina was changed from A1 to E1. That includes all the parcel of Welter. Sorry, I keep saying Trantina, I do apologize. So A1 to E1 and A1 to C2. This was, again, the motion was made by Trustee Sabo at the time, second by Trustee Schneider, and voted, all three of them voted yes, including Trustee Nemick. Okay, so what did that do? That allowed them to build on the property. They built a strip mall, you know, where Pepe's and all the other restaurants are there, and some other things, and Founders Crossing Senior Housing. So by doing that, essentially they sold parcels of what you consider open space or part of the open space program. And that was dictated, excuse me, this is what was presented as the open space program. Again, there's a timeline here. This timeline is absolutely the truth. Oh, I'm sorry if you don't like it. That's, you know, I mean, the truth is the truth, so.
That's true. We have the land surveys. The FOIA.
And I just want to mention one more thing, that the Township Code does allow for the sale of open space.
The acres that were commercial are the 10 acres for Founder. The C2 happens to be
You're out of order.
senior housing. I want the truth to come out. Please do not misconstrue the facts. I don't care about that.
Excuse me. Well, you don't have to, it's up to you. If you, this is what the truth is. If you want to see it, I have it up here. You can all look at it. I made plenty of copies for everyone to look at.
News articles are not law.
Okay, now we're going to do a motion to approve accepting.
This is so.
Motion to approve accepting a contract for the Purdy Farm located at 15832 West Bruce Road in Lockport, 60441. And we cannot sell the property unless it's for appraised value or more, and it's subject to attorney looking at it and making sure it's all legal. So we're going to, once attorney reviews it, we can. We've got three bids, and they're pretty close in nature. You got one for, the lowest one is $2,365,000. The next one is $2,494,000, and then the highest one is $2,631,600. So the board will be picking this one for the highest and most responsible bid, which is for $2,631,600, which is well over the appraised value. So we need a,
No, we have
wait,
to,
who's the
buyer?
One minute. We have a motion to, and a second. We need a motion and a second for discussion. We have a motion?
No motion.
Have you listened to anybody?
Hey, we need a motion.
I'll start a motion for discussion.
Okay, discussion.
Whispering.
Yeah, thanks for people who didn't hear. There was a motion on agenda item 14C, and there was a motion and a second, and that allows discussion. So yeah, my name is Mark Allen, trustee, city trustee. Want to share, I want to thank you for all the input. I've been trying to make my way around the township. I've had numerous discussions with my colleagues, some of them pretty intense. And I wanted to share with you where I come out on this. Now, I'm not, it's not about open space, not open space. And for me, I'm a big process guy. So along with one of our speakers, she said she was a strategic planner. I spent 40 years in corporate environment doing just that, building plans, managing plans. Now, we never, ever would raise money first and then go, gee, what are we going to do with the money? We always had a plan. We knew what we needed to do. We looked at the benefits of all these things we wanted to do, and then we picked the projects we wanted to do, and then we went to secure the funding from the stakeholders. So for me, this is a little like cart before the horse. So that's one of my big issues with this as a process guy. The next big thing has to do with losing control over the property. Again, I see the arguments on both sides of we love open space. We could probably use the money from the open space to fund things we want to do to benefit the residents. I'm not going to get into that argument. I'm just going to talk about the minute we make the sale, we lose control. We, meaning the board, this board. The zoning of that property will likely be in the hands of Lockport and or the Will County Board. I think Homer Glen might have a vote, but needless to say, and we could vote, but it's an advisory vote, goes nowhere. So that's my other problem. One is process issue, one is control. Thanks.
Where are you voting?
Thank you, Mark. Mike, did you want to say?
Yeah.
As a board, we've received several emails and through Facebook. I've done my best to respond to people's questions to the best of my ability. I want to say, I actually wanted to say this, I wrote it out today. In reference to what you have concerns over, there has been a lot of misinformation provided to the public. I've been a resident of Homer Township for over 20 plus years, and in no way would I attempt to dishonor the residents in our community. In 2020, we as a team were elected by the people to make decisions based on their trust in us. I take my job as trustee seriously, and I volunteer a lot of my time to engage with many people in the township. Elections have consequences, and unfortunately, when we make decisions, we will have people on both sides expressing their opinions and or concerns. Once a month, I am surrounded by anywhere from 75 to 85 seniors, and I don't look for their vote, just to give everyone a fact. I take time out of my work day to come down to Homer Glen from the city of Chicago to represent Homer Township and give the senior community something to do. For the last 18 months, I think it's been, me and Cindy Laha started it, and the people that are on the committee, okay, I am the chairman of the senior committee. I make the decisions on who is on that committee. Out of the 26 committee members, 14 are residents, if you want to call them that, not elected officials of the township in Homer Glen. Okay? If anybody wants to ask questions about the senior bingo or anything we do with the seniors and activity, talk to them. Ron Savara comes to my senior bingo the second Tuesday of every month, and he'll tell you I think it's a great time. Cindy Lahat has a granddaughter that she's trying to help out with her daughter, and she takes time out of that to come to the senior bingo to help with our activities. Mark Arwen takes time out of his day. We have many people. Rosie brings desserts every time she comes, and people welcome her with open arms. But I'm going to finish with what I was going to say. And with that being said, we talked to the seniors. And in the last several months, since all of this stuff has been discussed, a majority of them do want a place to go, i.e. community center or whatever the case might be. I get 75 to 85 seniors the last 2 years. Huh? I'm just telling you, I'm talking. And a majority would love to come to a place of our own to play bingo, learn arts and crafts, and simply have a place to go and gather for whatever. We as a board have to make decisions and play them out until the next election cycle. That will determine if we made the right decision or not. I feel we do. I feel what we do is the best for the betterment of the community and never make decisions based on our own best interests. I personally have reached out to several different communities and asked if what we are doing is right. They are all in agreement with our decision. I respect comments, and I can assure you that I do care about the people I serve, all of them. Thank you, and God bless.
Does anybody else have a comment? Okay, then, clerk, I'm going to call the roll.
Let's see, 13.
The motion is to accept the highest and best bid, and we have to, for Genesis Land Development LLC, and it's under attorney review before we can actually sign it. And what else?
This is just to set the, yes,
You want to explain it?
Speak up.
This would just be to accept the highest and best bid from Genesis Land Development LLC for the price of $2,631,600. And with the direction, this would be subject to attorney.
What are they doing with it?
This would be subject to attorney review and final creation of entry of an actual contract. So this is just acceptance of the high bid and then entering actual contract negotiation.
Again, not your land to sell.
Yeah, the developer you're selling it to. Genesis Land Development.
Great.
Okay, the motion was made by Trustee Bonomo, second by Trustee Conley, and I will take a roll call on the motion. Supervisor Ballich?
Yes.
Trustee Bonomo?
Yes.
Trustee Conley?
Yes.
Trustee Rivera? And Trustee Garwin?
No.
Okay, motion passes.
Okay. At this time, we had no offers for the Paul property, so we're going to take that off. We're not going to look for contracts on that. We're going to stop that. So that's ended. And with that, we need a motion to adjourn.
I'll start that motion.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passes.